Greetings, and welcome to the textured and lit uh, version of the floor by floor Quake map. Get me out of here. Okay. Right. So you might notice right now I've added a fog. Well, besides the textures, I've added a fog effect to this outside area as well, and that'll have more effect when we head down the stairs. But I want to hang around up here for a sec and show some of the ground textures. I picked these for the more hilly textures on the rim because I thought that looked like a nice choice. Doesn't really transition very well when you look up close. Maybe I'll change that later. But for now, I quite like the contrast, and I quite like how this landscape looks in general. To be honest, now let's head downstairs. And right now we have torches. Very nice area here. I kind of like how I set these torches up down here. And I say that because I'm a little less proud of how the lights turned out down here, because as you can probably tell right away, these are just floating lights. And I didn't just pick that for no reason, I want to say. Well, it was partly a time limit thing, but it was also something that occurred to me while I was lighting. For one thing, I kind of like the idea of certain areas being a little harder to see in. And when I was testing this, I wanted to be careful too. I wanted to be careful about that. So, like, the only places here that aren't lit are these little hallways with the button at the end of them. And I think since there aren't any enemies in these smaller areas, so I think that works. And one thing I especially liked was the idea of not being able to see the ceiling. I thought that fit very well, and that occurred to me while I was lighting, and I quite like that. I quite like how that fits. Oh. Yeah, I got a little stuck on the geometry. That's a problem that cropped up recently, and I thought I fixed it. But you still get stuck on that one area for some reason. But as I was saying, I like the theme of... I like how I feel like that's the theme of Ascension without actually being able to see the top. Like, I don't know, maybe some of you on your monitors can see the ceiling better than I can, but personally I can't particularly make it out. This place took, and the floor above, you'll see, took a few more lights than I'd originally suspected. And you might also notice that this doesn't exactly look like an office area either. And that was a problem that didn't occur to me until later, if I'm honest. At the time, I'd just been looking for textures that would fit like these walls dividing these little sections, kind of like cubicles and whatnot. I thought that fit perfectly, and since I'd been using mostly stone up till now, especially for the sewer area, I ended up picking stone for the ground and stone for the walls. And it was while I was lighting, I realized that this doesn't really fit for like a modern type of setting. Yeah, not at all. Because I considered, when I was thinking about how I would light the area, I realized torches were kind of my only option that would fit. And I didn't end up not using torches. Because I think the lights look better being in the center rather than being against the wall. And I don't like the idea of the torches just floating in the center. But like in the future, if I have time to continue the stage over this level over the summer, I'm definitely gonna make this look more modern. The most modern thing in this is the doors. You might have noticed. They're very futuristic. The futuristic sliding doors that you see in the army-based levels. And yeah, that was another misstep on my part. But on the other hand, I'm kind of proud of how I kind of replicated the effect in the original Quake, where the doors actually open across the crease. It took some precise brushwork, but that's a detail I only noticed in the original Quake. After I put this door in, I thought, I wonder if I should do that. And then I checked, and I was like, huh. So I went through the trouble of splitting that door in half properly. Another change you might notice is that these are no longer the demon dogs. These are the regular dogs. And The reason for that is, actually, my sister offered to playtest this stage, and she was kind of interested in when she saw how it looked, and she wanted to give it a try. And she could work her way past. She never played Quake before, but she could get through the first 2 floors. But this one was pretty difficult, and that's kind of when it was kind of confirmed for me that fighting off the demon dogs with the rocket launcher wasn't the best idea, because they take 3 rockets to kill, assuming you hit all of them directly. Well, these guys only take 1, so this was a little easier to balance. Before my solution had been to reduce the number of demon dogs, which meant there were only like just a few scattered around everywhere, and wasn't really that interesting. But now with the dogs, I can actually increase the number, and I can increase the number to balance it out. And I quite like how they just kind of randomly scatter around this sacrificial area. And yeah, you might notice, if you've seen the last 2 videos, the last 2 iterations of this stage, you'll probably notice that this area is a bit smaller, and now you get I'm kind of proud of this encounter too. Like, this is very nice, very hectic type of fight. Especially the dogs. They just make a beeline for you. And the knights too. The zombies aren't so much of a threat, to be honest, but they can cause trouble for you if you're not careful. And the exit is... Actually, I'm gonna take the time to wipe these other guys out. Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of proud of that. That's a very intense final encounter for this stage. And, again, the twist of where, yeah, you haven't gone anywhere, ooh, spooky. I'm kind of, one thing I kind of don't, I applied a sunlight thing into this stage, but I kind of wish that the shadows were more visible on these, ground textures more. I'm assuming it's because the skybox, is basically surrounding this, so there's light coming from there, light coming from above, and light coming from the side over there. As a result, the ground looks kind of flat, so maybe I could try increasing the angle of the sunlight, but otherwise, it's a shame. Okay, so that's the gist of it. I've been considering how, or if I'm going to change this over the summer, if I might move on to other projects, but, yeah, especially the light. I feel like I didn't, I kind of feel like I didn't, apply enough thought to the lighting, because right now the light's just kind of hovering, so I might use those little hovering orbs that give off light that are in Trench Broom. I might try to take time to fiddle around more with, how lighting works, but as for what was done in the time limit that I set this in, I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of proud of how it turned out, given that time limit, especially considering the rest of my schedule. But yeah, I hope all your viewers enjoyed, and I hope you're interested. I'm happy to hear any feedback. Thank you very much for watching.